Hi, good afternoon. My name is Patrick Garvey, and a lot of times clients will ask me, what makes a good case? That's a very fair question. There are a lot of components that go into even considering an answer for that question. The first question is, what are your injuries? What happened to you? Are they serious enough that they reach a certain level to where you should be compensated for your pain and suffering? These are things that we'd have to ask and get into a nice discussion about. Review your medical records. Make sure that you went for your MRIs and your medical testing. This is very important because my case is only strong enough as the medical records I have with me. That is my biggest and strongest ammunition in a case. So your medical treatment is also very important, and that corresponds to the injuries that you have. The diagnosis, your doctor's evaluations. These are things that, of course, I'm going to be looking for as an attorney. And that allows me to give you an assessment as to what I think about the outcome of the case and what you might be entitled to. Another area that has to be looked at is, how are these injuries related to the accident that you got into? What happened in the accident? Where were you going? What were you doing? The impacts, if it's a car accident, or the severity of the slip or trip and fall, or if you're at an accident, a construction site, and something happens there. I have to know what exactly happened to you. What areas did you harm? How did you land? How did you fall? What part of your body contacted what part of the inside of a vehicle? These are questions that also have to be addressed and answered, because we have to be able to connect the dots between the actual injuries themselves and what caused them. Did your body come into contact with something? Whose fault was the accident? Is it 100% the fault of the other party? Is there a percentage of fault that maybe perhaps you did? So of course this is another avenue that we have to look into. For example, car accident case. If we have two vehicles traveling and you're in one of them and you're driving the other vehicle, the story about how the accident happened might be different from the other driver. Not to say that you're fabricating what happened, but there's always two sides to every story. And it's important that we also do the investigation into that too. So this is another avenue that it's very important that we evaluate before we can figure out what the best options are for you with your case. Of course, one of the big questions, what is my case worth? What's the value of the case? Well, there is no simple answer to that question, okay? We have to evaluate and determine what is the policy limits of the other driver, let's say, if it's a car accident case. Some people have a lower policy, let's say 25. Other people might have a higher policy at $1 million. These are things that we're going to ask the insurance company about. And of course, if you're dealing directly with the insurance company, they're not going to be so quick to tell you that, because they want to quickly get rid of this case and they're not about to disclose the full amount of the policy right away. If they're dealing with us, they know they have to answer that question. So that is definitely something you want to be cognizant of. A lot of people see these commercials and they think about what they hear, and they hear these actors, these paid actors, about getting millions of dollars of settlement, and and their lives have changed for the best because of it. I mean, look, in all fairness, there is a formula, there is a way to gauge and determine what your case is worth. The categories I just discussed is a good way to look at how your case is going to be valued. But when you see these commercials, please keep in mind that these actors only represent the outcome of a case. The actual parties that were involved and injured in those cases, if they're saying they got millions and millions of dollars in settlement, chances are they could very well be missing parts of their body, or in a wheelchair, or brain damage, or something very severe and life-changing that'll cause them pain and suffering for the rest of their lives and actually affect their ability to even work and support themselves. So before you hear these numbers and think that you're automatically going to be entitled to that, that may not be the case. But I'm here to tell you the facts, and I make sure that my clients are fully aware of the situation they're in, whether it be good or bad or somewhere in between. And that's my assessment and my discussion about what makes a case and what is the value of a case.